What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod back with another video, and today I'm just going to share some of my eBay and Poshmark sales with you guys, just so you guys can actually see that people are still buying out here. I'm not going to say my sales are blowing up, and I'm not going to say my sales are super slow either. But at the same time, people are still buying, so it's just something to just keep you encouraged and just know that there are still people out here that are still, the people are home right now, so they have some more time on their hands, and there's a ton of like online sales happening on a whole bunch of different platforms as well, and people are, they're going through eBay, they're going through Poshmark, and they're still shopping. So you definitely still want to be active, and now is definitely not the time to just sit back and just kind of wait and see how things turn out. Now is still a time to still just be as productive as possible. And with that being said, that's why I'm just trying to take this time right now and just aggressively attack this death pile that I have. I have a bunch of clothing that I did not list yet on eBay, and if it wasn't for this like downtime right now, I don't think I'll probably ever get to this stuff. So I'm actually just trying to be, as smart and as productive as possible with my time, use my time wisely. So I'm just going to share some of this death pile with you guys, some of the stuff that I already photographed and is going to start getting listed later on today. And then I'm just going to first I'll probably just jump in and share some of these eBay and Poshmark sales, because I usually share my eBay sales on Patreon, but today I'm just going to share the eBay sales for today, just so that you guys can see that people are still shopping. So if you have stuff that you want to get listed, if you're kind of nervous about whether or not people are buying, trust me, people are still shopping, they're still buying. I sold maybe 4 or 5 things yesterday and about 5 or 6 the day before. So like I said, it's not a ton of sales happening right now, but it's enough to keep me encouraged and enough to keep me working. So let's jump into the sales. Alright, y'all, so as you guys can see, it's not a ton of sales. We got 7 packages all together. Those 4 are eBay and these 3 are Poshmark. If you guys are wondering, I use eBay tape for everything. I just moved and all the boxes had a ton of eBay tape on it, and I've never gotten any negative feedback or any questions about me using eBay tape for Poshmark orders. So let me just address that right away. But the first thing that sold on Poshmark was this pair of Adidas top 10s in this red and white colorway. Those actually sold for 69 bucks on Poshmark, and I was just happy about that one because I bought a ton of these in bulk. I probably have like 50 pairs of these, and they're not selling as fast as I thought they would. But of course, I knew during the spring and summer month sales would pick up. So one sold for 70 bucks and I think a size 12. So this is a really good sale. I'm happy about that. Next up was this pair of kid sneakers I picked up from Ross. I believe these Ross shoes was maybe $39.99. These ended up selling on Poshmark for 79 bucks, so not a ton of profit was made at all. I purchased those sneakers thinking that they might possibly sell for a little more, but during these times I'm definitely accepting lower offers than I usually would, so I just went ahead and accepted that. And last but not least, in terms of the Poshmark sales, was a pair of Vapor Max. I believe these were the Vapor Max fly knits in that Orca colorway, black and white, and I purchased these from Poshmark for 30 bucks. The downside to those was the fact that they didn't have laces and the shoes were really dirty when I first purchased them. So I actually threw an extra insole in there, and I was rocking these to the gym for a while, and then I finally just decided to throw them in the washing machine, get them clean, put some new laces in there. I picked up the shoelaces from the Nike outlet, and I knew they would fit just because they were the same laces that originally came with the Vapor Max shoe, just minus that Vapor Max logo on the lace tips. And from there I listed them for 110 bucks. I got a best offer of 90, and I went ahead and accepted that. So these are the 3 Poshmark sales, and Poshmark for me has already been kind of slow. Even last month Poshmark sales were relatively slow, so 3 sales going out today. I'm still definitely happy about that. Now we can jump into the eBay sales. This was actually a pair of Cole Haan 0 grands for women, and these sold for 20 bucks. And I think I purchased these for maybe 5 or 6 bucks from a thrift store. And they had a huge stain on the front of these, and I thought I could actually get that stain out. But it's been a very long time since these were listed, probably maybe 8 or 9 months since I had these listed, and they finally sold for 20 bucks. So not a ton of profit, but I'm just glad I finally got these out the house. And next up here, let me make sure I'm not showing anybody's address, but the main thing is that This was another pair of shoes that I picked up from Ross. I believe these were 20 bucks or maybe 25 bucks. These are actually on clearance. And the good thing is that these ended up selling for 60 bucks. So not a ton of profit on here either, but I did know this was at the time of purchasing these shoes, they were selling for about 70 to 80 bucks. Of course, now the sales are not as fruitful as we would like. So I did lower the price on a lot of my stuff, and this one sold for 60 bucks. So this was also a decent sale, and I was able to ship this out first class since this shoe is really light. So I did save some money on shipping. And next up we got in this regional A box was a pair of Under Armour cleats in a size 14 wide, and I actually purchased those from Ross. And I purchased this from Ross. I'll see if I can find the footage for you guys, but I think I spent maybe $2 or $3, and this was back in January when Ross had that really crazy sale on a ton of shoes. And they sat for a little while, but they finally did sell. So that pink breast cancer awareness colorway, I knew it would be something, a good shoe to pick up, because I know those type of cleats are kind of popular. So this one did sell for 40 bucks. I was able to fit it in a regional A box. And because it was in a regional A box, I think I only spent about $8 on this. So this was also a very good sale as well. And last but not least, in terms of the eBay sales, was this pair of Maine Mountain Moccasin boots. Now, this brand was a brand that it sells for a ton of money. I thought it was going to sell for a lot more than it did. And I had these boots listed for at least 5 or 6 months, and a best offer of 75 bucks finally did come in, and I just went ahead and accepted it. And I actually found those boots in a consignment shop, and I think I spent 30 bucks for it. So it is what it is. I didn't make as much profit as I thought I did, but like I was telling you guys before, the fact that stuff is still selling, I'm encouraged. I'm feeling positive. So I just wanted to, share some of these sales before I actually went ahead and dropped these stuff off, because it's about 4:30 and the post office closes at 5. Alright, y'all, so that's all of my eBay and Poshmark sales. So let's share some of the Deathpile that I was trying to comb through. A lot of these all these things on this table right now has already been photographed, so I'm just gonna have to work on listing these things, and I'll just try to plow through the rest of them. But I'll just share some of the stuff that I did have, and hopefully it can give you guys some brands to be on the lookout for, especially if you guys are still able to go out there and source. Alright, y'all, so first up we got this pair of Beard McLeod linen pants. Now I have a ton of these. This was all some of the pants that I was able to grab from Dillard's, and I didn't list all of these yet because at that time it was still too cold to list linen stuff. But now is the time when people will be buying a lot more linen clothing. So I just took a photo of just these one pants, and I'm gonna list all 3 of them, and because they're all the same pair of pants, so that shouldn't take too long. And this brand in particular, the retail price is super high, but I'll be happy with about maybe 25 to 30 bucks per pair of pants on these, and hopefully they sell pretty quickly. Now is the time where people are buying these type of stuff, so I figured I might as well start working on it. The more pants from Dillard's. This is that Cremio brand that I was telling you guys about before, and this is a pretty good size 38, 32. Larger sizes always do best for me. This I'll probably list for 20 bucks, and we'll see how that one does. This is a brand that I usually don't pick up, Hart Schaefer and Marks. This actually came out of that, I believe this was in part of that wholesale order, and 115 bucks on the tag here, and these will probably sell anywhere between 39 and maybe 49 bucks for these. And this is also in a really good size 50, 30. So somebody that is a bigger guy, as you guys can see on the tag, a big man should definitely be picking those up. Next up right here we got this Armani suit, and I picked this suit up from one of those thrift stores out in California. This is actually Giorgio Armani though, so this was a pretty high quality suit. Only downside to this, what I noticed shortly after listing it, well, shortly before taking the photos, is that they did have a stain on the leg here, so that's definitely going to bring down the value on the pants. But like I said, a lot of stuff that ended up in my death pile was because it had some type of flaw, some type of stain. This suit was part of the things that just had a flaw, so I'm gonna list that probably on the lower end just to get rid of it, and we'll see how it goes. Next up was this like a cardigan type of thing, DVF. Let me see if you can find the tag, Diane von Furstenberg. If you guys remember when I picked this up from the thrift store, definitely drop a comment, let me know. This one, I think I spent maybe 4 or 5 bucks for this one, and this one should sell for some decent profit. It only took me a while to actually get around to listing this because this is something I would usually have to put on a mannequin, because this wouldn't, a flat lay wouldn't do this piece any justice. Very similar to this as well, but I still took flat lay pictures of this. Let me see if I can find the tag for you guys. Diedrichsen is the brand. This was like a poncho, and it's like a packable poncho. So I'll see if I can throw some of the photos up here that I actually did take of some of these items so you guys can see them. But this is definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. This one should be going up very soon. This was something that was super big, and it did have like a flaw right here on the stitch, and that's something I probably could just throw a hand stitch in there, but I'm just gonna list it as is. This is actually a Simpson racing suit, and I had a pair of Simpson racing shoes for a very long time, but the suit is what's gonna really bring in the money. I'll probably list this on the upper end, maybe about $100 for this, maybe even more, maybe 150, because this is the only real flaw to it. So this one should sell for some decent profit. And like I said, Simpson is definitely a bolo. This is a full tech racing suit, so you definitely want to be on the lookout for something like that. It might be close to the snowboarding stuff if you guys find this in a thrift store. Next up was another racing suit. This was Alpinestars. And pieces like this, it usually sits around the house a lot longer, because it's not like a easy thing to just do a quick flat lay of, even though that's what I eventually just went ahead and doing anyway. But something like this, probably throw it on a mannequin, probably throw it up on a hanger and put it on the wall. But this one should also sell for some decent profit, maybe $40-50. Here was something that actually came out of the personal collection. This is a pair of white slim fit denim jeans from Uniqlo. I believe I picked these jeans up for like $6. They had a ton of these jeans on sale, and this was sitting in my closet for years at this point, and I tried them on and they don't fit me anymore, so clearly gonna have to get rid of these. Uniqlo jeans don't sell for a ton of money, but because these are all white, brand new with tags, I'll probably get maybe $30-40 for this. Next up, we got this vintage pair of swim trunks. This was also something I was gonna keep, and the only flaw the only problem with this is that it looked like there was a hole on the back of these. But other than that, these were really dope, and vintage swim trunks usually do sell pretty well on eBay. So this was a vintage Nike tag. This one should probably sell for maybe $30 on eBay. Besides that little flaw on the back, there was nothing wrong with it, so this should do pretty well. This is another brand a lot of people should be familiar with. AG Jeans, Adriano Goldschmied, in this kind of like green khaki colorway. Really nice. This should also sell for about maybe $30, maybe $40. The only downside to this one is that drop a comment if this happens to you often, but the downside is that the tag size says 36, 32, but once I took the measurements, I think it was more like a 38, 30. So I'm going to make sure I put that in the description. But this is definitely a good brand to be on the lookout for, especially for those of you that do a lot of thrifting. Here was some Dockers broken in khaki pants, two of the same pants, maybe $20, nothing crazy on there. And another pair of Cremu pants, size 38, 32. This should be a $20 piece all day long, especially since it's linen, maybe $25 on those. And last but not least, in terms of the pants, we got a pair of Ralph Lauren pants. I think these were either from the wholesale order or I picked this up from Dillard's, and these should sell for about $30, maybe $40, maybe a little more. This is in a nice dope seersucker fabric. So stuff like this is the stuff that people are actually looking for right now. You see, I'm just trying to grab all the stuff that I had sitting in the inventory that was just kind of taking up space, but at the same time, these are the things people are shopping for now. A lot of lighter colors, a lot of lighter fabrics. So, you know, swim trunks, stuff like that. That's what I'm really trying to get listed and out of the house. Next up, drop a comment if you guys remember when I actually did a trip to the thrift and I picked this piece up. This jacket, the brand is Jacket. I don't know what that's about, but the brand is Jacket. I think it's 2 T's at the end. So this is kind of ugly in my opinion, but when I picked this up, the comps were really strong. So I'm gonna list this for maybe $50 or $60. See how it does on there. But a piece like this, it just took me a while to list it because, like I said, in my opinion, it's pretty ugly. So I kind of dragged my feet on getting that listed. And last but not least, let me do this piece some justice. Hold on. So last but not least, we got this Guess USA leather jacket, and this was definitely not something that was sitting in the death pile by any means. This was the jacket I just picked up a couple days ago from the thrift. And this one was in really nice condition, and as you guys can see, the back has that nice big spell out, heavily embroidered, so that's really dope. And this should be at least 150, maybe 200 bucks, especially since I did get most of the stains off of there. And this is a piece that might sit for a very long time because I'm going to be waiting for a very specific buyer. But when it does sell, I'll make some good money on this because I only spent 20 bucks for this jacket. So this is something that I was kind of excited to get listed. So it's definitely not part of the death pile stuff, but it's definitely going up today. Alright y'all, so that's all I got for today's video. I hope this video gave you guys some encouragement, some motivation to just, you know, be active and try to get as much done as you can, especially if you're going to be sitting at home. And like I said before, for me, this is going to be my biggest project for the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, because I have a huge death pile and I still have a ton of other stuff to get to. So drop a comment if you guys want more videos like this where I can just share some of my daily sales and share how this death pile is going. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
For the winner, cause you felt like you was losing, only for the winner. Move just to keep from cooling, like only for the winner, only for the winner, only for the winner. Boy, my heart is cold, and I'm too cool to sweat it. I should've never offered it. I'm tight and now I'm off this shit.